Yeah, some Week 8 Power 25 notes here. So basically 1 through 9 stayed the same except for a 2-3 switch. Number 2, Normal Community, they jump up one spot to number 2. They're 24-2 on the year, 4-0 week. Tonight on Tuesday, they play Normal U High, who jumped up 3 spots this week to number 17. They're 23-3 overall, and they also had a 3-0 week. So a really big rivalry matchup here in Bloomington Normal with two of the top teams in the state playing against each other. And then I know from what we have gotten information on, Gavin Swartz will start. So a big outing for him is he used to play at Normal U High 2 years ago. So big game here.
Yeah, and I just looking at the top that you're talking about here, Gavin, like looking at the top 3 teams, going back on our sheet, like they've been the top 3 teams since week 3 of the season. So they put themselves on the map early on. Like St. Lawrence was our preseason number 1. They've stayed at number 1. Normal Community was our preseason number 2. The lowest that they've gotten, as far as the worst that they've gotten, is the 3rd best team in the state. They're back to number 2. And then Lincoln Way East started the preseason at number 7. And they've been, basically in the top 3 now since week 3. So those 3 teams have clearly separated themselves. Lockport's made a really, really just awesome run here as of late. They've been in the Power 25 the whole season, but now they've been sitting in the top 5 since week 5. And then Brother Rice, despite taking some early losses to some really, really tough out-of-state competition, they've just been rolling. They're in the middle of CCL Blue Play too. And obviously we record this on Tuesday. They had a tough Monday loss to St. Lawrence. So like 2 juggernauts going at it. Hopefully we'll get another look at that game. Just 2 of the better teams in the state, especially when you look at position player wise up and down both those lineups. It's pretty impressive what they possess. But yeah, they're 21-8 and went 4-0 last week. So I know there's some other teams here that we want to touch on as well.
Triad's moving up 3 spots to number 10. They're 22-5, had another 4-0 week last week. Obviously, we had Keegan Sipe on last week, and he just, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, he just broke the single-season home run record that he was talking about on the podcast. So kudos to Keegan, that's awesome. But, man, Triad down there, they're starting to really separate themselves, in my opinion, as like maybe the best team down in Southern Illinois this year. I know they're in 3A. You got some 4A schools down there for sure, but they just continue to play really good baseball. Lamont jumps up to number 12, another 4-0 week. They had a big win over Lincoln Way West. They were even able to put up double-digit runs, if I'm not mistaken, on them as well. And then you got Geneva moving up to number 13, up 3 spots. They're 24-3, another 4-0 week. And to me, it's just impressive that, like, Geneva and Lamont both, like, you're this far in the year and you only have 3 losses. Like, it's pretty absurd and speaks a lot to what those 2 clubs got going on right now.
Yeah, and just to go back to the Triad, like Keegan Sipe did that in a huge matchup against Mascoutah. 2 Power 25 teams, and Triad beat them handily on Monday. And it looked like, just from the video that we saw of the Keegan Sipe home run, that it was a no-doubt bomb, which he's become accustomed to hitting. And yeah, Lamont, I just want, like, looking at them, and they have one of the more intriguing starting staffs, I would say, like in the state. When they're all healthy, they've got 3 left-handers that they can hand the ball to. You got Cannon Madej, that's just been lights out as of late. He's committed to Swick. He's a senior, but then they have a duo of sophomore lefties in Dylan Jones and Nathan Zdenovich. Nathan Zdenovich has been, racking up strikeouts every time I see. I got to see him live earlier in the year. And then Geneva, in 3 of their 4 wins last week, they put up double-digit runs and handled a 3-game set against Glenbard North pretty handily. So just a couple things I wanted to touch on with those 3 teams as well.
Yeah, and Tremont jumps in at number 21. They are 24-2 overall. It's their first time in the Power 25 this year. I got to look at them last week and saw Chase Rhodes on the mound. He's going to John A. Logan, he was up to 94. They got Griffin Meeker at shortstop. Andrew Dawson playing third base, but also on the mound. He's going to Valpo. But they just have a lineup full of seniors that can produce. They're at the 1A level, so a smaller school, but they are definitely one of those top teams in that 1A class. And then I was just looking. So Newman Central Catholic jumped into the Power 25 for the first time at number 25 this year. They're another 1A, or they're 2A actually, but they're 21-1. The past couple of years have been between 1A and 2A. And just looking at the IHSA site, the past 5 years, in the past 5 years, the last 3 they made it to state, and then the 2 years prior to that, they were in the super sectional, so 1 game away from state, and then all the way back to like I think the 2018-2019 season, they were 2 games away from going to state. But they've just been one of those teams in that 1A, 2A level that have just continually, kind of like Ottawa Marquette, continually been in that state conversation. So they make their first entrance into the Power 25 this week.
And Gavin, I don't know how you feel about this, or since you've been doing this, but like it's pretty rare to have a 1A team in the Power 25.
Yeah.
So to see Tremont, cracking the list, like huge shout out to them. They're putting themselves kind of out there as, man, that 1A team to beat. But what I love about it is we got the eye test on them. And yeah, their competition is going to be a little bit different than other teams, but they've got a horse on the mound. They've got a shortstop that has emerged as like a high-level 2026 prospect going to Heartland. I'm sure you'll talk about him maybe later. And then Newman Central Catholic. Like, I don't think we've been giving them enough credit, potentially. All they do is win, and all they do is win in the postseason. And I just had to pull it up as you were talking here because, that's the alum of Brendan Tunick. He's one of our favorite, prospects that has come through here in a while, left-handed hitter. Was drafted out of high school by the Dodgers, and I just pulled up in 2026. Like, he just started his action. He's played in 8 games. He's got 29 at bats. He's hitting 379 at the A level. He's got 3 home runs, 4 doubles, and I think he's a guy that we're going to want to keep our eyes on here in the near future. I could see him just climbing up the ladder there, the system for the Dodgers, but I just wanted to shout out Brendan Tunick. Any chance I can get to shout out that guy, I want to shout him out. So we're following you, Brendan, and we're definitely following Newman Central Catholic. They've got a lot of guys that are going to be college caliber players as well.
And then rounding out the Power 25, we've got Willowbrook entering for the first time this year at number 24. They're 23-4, and honestly, I think the cool thing with Willowbrook is that, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm like 99% sure this is accurate, but this is going to be Coach Wisner's final season at the helm of Willowbrook, and one of the more respected coaches, in the Chicagoland area for sure, if not the entire state. He's been doing it a very long time there. But to me, that's a really cool story with Willowbrook, and curious to see if they can keep it up.